Okay, so a quick video on the topic of relationships and love. You know, this obviously can extend to like partner, or it could be your family, friends. So, but I think these things are perhaps even more important with a relationship, a partner, just because you actually choose to be together and you will be spending a lot of time together. And if you're moving in together, or you do live together, then you're in a very close space together and you have expectations of each other more than perhaps the other relationships. So um, I think one thing is understanding what makes what makes you, what makes you feel loved, first of all, because um, you kind of people naturally expect that that's what makes other people feel loved. So you can try and make someone feel loved by doing something that makes you feel loved, but actually you have a very different way of feeling it than someone else does. So someone else will have a different take on it. If you want to find out more, then I suggest you look up like love language or love languages. I'm not sure what it's called, but I came across it from like a pre wedding marriage counseling. So it's like teaching you how to live life when you're married, rather than just focusing on all the stuff to get married. It's like, how will you live when you are married? So that was a good thing. Like, if you're getting married, I do um, definitely suggest you do like a kind of preparation counseling like anyway. So some people might feel loved by more physical contact, touch, showing signs of affection, um, and I think perhaps maybe guys are more orientated that way, but not necessarily. But and some people will find material gifts and surprises and things like that to be like, that's how they feel loved. A lot of this stems from how people were brought up, and so like if they didn't have a lot, you can understand that material possessions could actually mean something more, and having a lack of it makes them feel unloved. So there's reasons why people will have different ways of feeling loved. Some it's just showing signs of like thinking about them when they're not around and stuff. And you can have several of these at the same time. I would guess everyone probably does have several to a certain extent. um just doing things, doing chores, keeping, like, it could be if you've got a family, doing your part to keep the family together. You got to remember, in relationships, in every relationship, there's the reciprocity between you that needs to be, like, everything's reciprocal, like reciprocity. That's what I meant to say. Reciprocity. Yeah. So you got to make sure that there's always, you're always giving back. Like, these things are crucial. If there isn't, um, then yeah, a relationship will fail. If it's all give on one side, then that's a broken relationship right there. So, but yeah, if you want the other person um, to feel loved, you have to understand. And so you what you want to do is, if it's a partner, especially, like, this applies to any relationship in general, to um, to different extents, but in a partnership, and because it's going to be arguments coming up and stuff, and there's a lot of it is based on subconscious stuff. Things build up. You don't know why certain bad patterns and thoughts are developing, but I think a lot of it can be helped on a very base level. If their subconscious knows that they feel loved, that could change how they interpret things that you say to them, rather than taking things the wrong way, because they have a deep understanding of where you're coming from, because they feel that you love them. So love languages or love language, look that up for you and your partner and find out about each other, because I guarantee you'll know them a whole lot better from that one exercise. Also, like when you argue, again, any relationship, you've sometimes you've got to step away and you've got to like think about it and come back again. But on the other hand, some people actually feel like, no, it has to be handled there and then. We don't end the argument until we've done with the argument. Now that's tough to deal with, because how, when you think so differently, I think the person who's expecting the argument to finish straight away, they have to realize that there needs to be, the other person needs space. I don't think you can really compromise on that one. Like when someone's at that point that nothing good's going to come from it, really. So, but you've got to think, you've got to like assume that you're both wrong, or that you actually more that you're both right. Even if you know that they factually are wrong, but the other person could be more of a feelings person and misunderstand things, and sometimes like a feelings person, when they're speaking to you and they're saying things as if this is the case, and so you could be arguing against what they're saying, because you're like, no, that's wrong. I know it's wrong. Like, take what they say in a sense with a pinch of salt. Take what they say seriously, but maybe not so literally. Take it as in, this is how it felt to me. You did this, and this was your intention. And they're not necessarily saying that is what you did or were thinking or whatever your intention, like, but they're telling you what it felt like to them. It felt like you did this for that, and when you so that way you give them their time, give them their 5 minutes or however long to like put their case across. Now you're right and that they're wrong, but let them have their time. Do not interrupt. Hear them out. Absorb what they say. Take into account, that some of these things are about how they felt and how their perspective was, and try and deal with it like step by step on that, and acknowledge them. There's nothing wrong with giving some validity to what they're saying, even if they are wrong factually, because you're actually gaining like a perspective of what they were thinking from their view, and it's very important to do that. And it's very hard for people to do this thing, because when you know that you're in the right and that the facts are on your side, you are logically correct. This is very tough to actually kind of break it down. So you do have to like say, look, I do understand where you're coming from. From that perspective, it makes sense that you did this and you thought that. And then you say your case and you say, well, this is what happened. And you both reach an understanding, and it's so much calmer. And then you talk about, going forwards, what each other can do to prevent this in future. So even if you're in the right, it doesn't mean that you won't have steps to take, because, the reason why they had this feeling and they thought about that could be for other reasons, like that go outside of the actual argument, and could be rooted in not feeling loved, not having their needs met in some way. So I hope that helps someone. So, um, or yeah, just one last thing. Um, Being loved by people doesn't mean necessarily that you are told that you're loved by people. Um, so it's one of those things. Like there's people that are close to me that will have never said that I love you to me, but it does not matter at all to me. I mean, for some people, it's very important. So um, but I'm just saying, for me, I I don't I know from actions, and so like for instance with my family, I know that all of my family love me, and I love them. There's no I don't think there would be any question of that to anyone. But we don't necessarily say I love you. So, and I think it is healthy to actually be able to say I love you to people and show appreciation. But yeah, doing things for each other and showing that you're thinking of them is a good thing. And I'm not very good at doing all of these things because well, I don't really see people very much because I have a lot of mental health issues, and so if I give advice, um, a lot of the time it's stuff that works better for other people than it does myself because of how many mental health problems I actually have. They're pretty severe, and when they're together as a cocktail, they actually kind of make life a bit impossible. But and just to add to that is like you from listening to me, you will underestimate how bad um, my mental health is in and what it can actually what it amounts to, what it all adds up to. Um, although although it's not disruptive to other people, um, there's things that add up and make it very internally destructive. So, but yeah, I these are the sort of things that I've learned in life, and this is not a this particular one is not a pearl of wisdom from myself. This is from other people. This was a learned lesson, whereas most of the things that I'm covering are perspectives that I've grew myself. Like obviously, it's always stemming from somewhere beforehand, so I can't take credit for everything. But um, to me, anyway, like I believe my thoughts to be pretty original for the large part. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So, right.